Okay, so we are in the discussion of various crystal systems, and in a 3D lattice space, the unit cell is specified by three lattice vectors. And if you look at these three lattice vectors, there are basically 6 parameters, and the parameters are the length of each of these lattice vector and the angle that they make between one another. For example, if you take A, B, C as the lattice vectors, then if you look at the triclinic, which is like a most generic way of having these 6 parameter values. So A is different from B, the length A is different from B, and C is different from both A and B. So these three lengths are different, and then between A and B, you have an angle gamma, and then similarly between B and C, you have alpha, and between C and A, you have beta. So alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, so these are the three angles. So alpha is the angle between A vector and C vector, beta is the angle between A vector and alpha is the angle between B and C, and beta is the angle between A and C, and gamma is the angle between A and B. Okay, so this way you have 6 parameters, and depending upon the values these parameter will take, then we have different crystal systems. Okay, so triclinic is a most generic because everything is different here. Alpha is not equal to beta, not equal to gamma, and similarly A not equal to B, not equal to C. Whereas if you look at the monoclinic, it has restriction. The restriction is that alpha and then alpha and gamma, okay, they are 90 degree, only beta is not 90 degree. Okay, so two sides, two angles are 90 degree, and one of them is only not 90 degree. Okay, and A, B, C are different, so that is called monoclinic. So triclinic, all 6 parameters are different. In monoclinic, two angles are restricted to 90 degree, and only one angle is allowed to be different from 90, and the lengths A, B, C are different. So that will give you monoclinic. And orthorhombic, I have already said, all angles are 90 degree, but the sides are all different length. Whereas tetragonal, you have 2 sides same, and only one side is not different from the other 2. Okay, rhombohedral, you have all angles not 90 degree, but they are all equal. Alpha, beta, gamma, all of them are equal, so they are all shown here as alpha, and but this angle cannot be 90 degree, and if all the sides are also equal, so that is how rhombohedral. And hexagonal, so there is a hexagonal with the bracket edge, and there is a hexagonal which is a different crystal system. So here if you look at 2 sides are same, one side is different, and the angle, 2 of them are 90 degree, and one of them is 120 degree. Gamma is 120 degree, but other 2 angles are 90 degree. And the most common is what is called as the cubic, which I already discussed. Okay, so this is what I was telling. The Brouwer lattice was studied by Ludwig in 1842, who found that there were 15 Brouwer lattice, but this was corrected by Bravais that it is not 15, it is 14. So two of them were like over counted. So that is why these 7 systems are having different ways of lattice points arrangement, but not all of them are unique. Okay, so if I put these empty ones, if I put it will result in one of the other one. So it is very difficult to really understand these things, but we don't need too much of those details. So right now we will focus only on the cubic lattice. Okay, so the cubic lattice, let us look at basic lattices are cubic lattice, and those are more important in our case for the study of semiconductors. So why do we study this lattice structure? It is because the properties are not only decided by the species of atoms, but also decided by the arrangement of these atoms or group of atoms, which we call as lattice, space lattice. Okay, so different arrangement has different properties that I already told you, and one of the reason why they have different properties is that in a unit volume, the amount or the number of atoms that are present is different in each of this arrangement. For example, let's see the variations of cubic lattice. So variations of cubic lattice. So there are 3. Number 1 is symbol cube. So you have though it is a little difficult, but I will attempt to draw this. So this is cubic lattice at the corner of a cube. So every side is same, A, and A, and there is atom sitting or a group of atoms sitting with respect to each corner. Okay, so the lattice point is arranged like this, the repetition of the lattice point. So this is the unit cell of symbol cube. Symbol cubic structure. Okay, so now what we can find out. So one of the parameters that are of interest to find out is like how many atoms are there, or how many lattice points are there per unit cube. Okay, so for example, the volume of the cube is A cube, A into A into A, and the number of atoms, number of lattice points inside A cube is equal to, if you look at each lattice point, these are not entirely belonging to this cube, each lattice point at the corner. Okay, because the corner is basically shared by 8 atoms. Every atom in the corner is shared by 8 such unit cell. Okay, so this is one of them, and then this is another of them, then this is another of them. So only for this particular cube, you can see that 4 are sharing from downward and 4 are sharing from upward. So there are total 8 cubes which are taking this atom in its corner. So each atom is sharing with 8 different cubes. So only 1 by 8 is part of one of the cube, and like that there are 8 such cubes. So you have this into 8. So there is only one lattice point per, effectively there is only one lattice point per cube. So therefore you can talk about what is called as density. So density is what? So density is basically the atoms per unit volume. Okay. So or atoms or a lattice point per unit volume. So in this case it will be 1 by whatever is the value of A. So a typical value of A is say 5 Armstrong. That is 5 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter, or you can say 5 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeter. So that is the kind of length we are talking about, because atom to atom spacing is of the order of Armstrong. So this will be 5 into 10 raised to minus 8 a whole cube. So this is a cube. So that will come around as 0.8 into 10 raised to 22 lattice points per centimeter cube. So that is the density. Now if we go to say body centered cube, in addition to the above we have one atom at the center of it, and that will result in a total of, for a BCC lattice structure, density is going to be 1 by 8 into 8 is there, plus one additional at the center. For the same A, if you evaluate, you will get it as 1.6. So this will be 2 divided by, so it will be double of this. So 1.6 into 10 raised to 22 per centimeter cube, points per centimeter cube. That many lattice point. Now what about face centered cube? For FCC lattice structure, density, so again at the corner you have 1 each, which is shared by 8, and then on the face you have 1 each. So there are 6 faces, and each face it will be shared by 2 cubes. So only half will essentially belong to one. If there is one at the side on the face, it will be shared with the two of the unit cells. So half into, and how many faces are there? You have 4 on the side and 1 top and 1 bottom. So there are 6. So divided by, okay. So this will be effectively giving rise to, so 1 plus 3, so that is 4. So it will be double that of body centered cube, which is basically 3.2 points per centimeter. You see the density varies. So all of them are cubic lattice, but because you have additional lattice points either at the center or on the face. Yeah, so that will contribute to different densities. Okay, so this density is called packing density. Okay, what we found out is packing density. Okay, so now we are going to look at planes in the crystal. So how do we represent planes in the crystal? Okay, so for example, if you are taking a cubic lattice structure, you can talk about different planes. Examples, say, suppose I am drawing a XYZ like this, X, Y, Z. This is our geometrical Euclidean space, and you have a cube like this. Now you can think about different planes in this 3D space. In fact, there are infinite number of planes. For example, you can talk about planes which are like this bottom plane. So bottom plane is basically your XY plane, or you can talk about this plane. So that is your XZ plane. So like that you can talk about different planes. And when you actually fabricate devices, we fabricate the devices on the surface of planes. Devices are fabricated on the surface of the crystal planes. So we take what is called as a wafer, and wafer will have a surface, and we create devices on the top of the wafer, which is basically the top of the crystal. So which is actually a planar structure. So devices are fabricated on the top surface, which is a plane. Top surface of the wafer. So wafer is something like this. I will just show you. Wafer has a cylindrical shape like this. It will have some diameter. It has some thickness. The diameter is usually 30 centimeter. There are wafers with smaller dimension also, but mostly it is 30 centimeter. It is actually represented in terms of inches. So 30 centimeter is a common size of the wafer, and the thickness is something like 700 micrometer, 700 to 800 micrometer. So it should have enough thickness in order to have enough mechanical strength. So mechanical strength is also something important, that property. So entire thing is a single crystalline, but you can see that the devices that you make may be a transistor or something like that. So this will be made on the surface, on the top surface. So therefore, which surface it is in the crystal plane we need to know, and that will decide the properties. So you can have multiple surfaces. Say for example, you can think about a surface like this. You can think about a plane like this. Okay, so different surfaces has different properties, or different planes have different crystal planes have different properties. Different planes of different properties. Different planes have different properties. Therefore, or what is the reason for that? Let me say the reason also. This is because the surface density vary with the various planes. Okay, different planes have different surface density. So that is the reason why we have different properties. So first of all, let us see how we can represent planes in crystal. So for that, again, let's go back to this picture. So this is our say x, this is y, and this z. So a plane can be represented with the help of x, y, and z intercepts. So this is like the x-axis, then 2, 3, 4, 5, y-axis, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Now you can represent the plane, because any plane will cut the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis at some points. That is how planes are oriented. Either it will cut at a finite value or at infinity. Why I said infinity? Because if you are considering the xy plane, it will never cut the x-axis or y-axis. It is going in parallel to it. So the x-intercept and y-intercept for xy axis is at infinity. But definitely we can talk about intercepts for all the planes. So let me just show you one example of a plane. Just y-intercept equal to 3. Sorry, z-intercept is 3, and then y-intercept is 4, and x-intercept is 2. So if you join these, you will see the plane. So this is the plane. So this plane can always be specified with its x-intercept, y-intercept, and z-intercept. So in coordinate geometry, probably you might have studied the equation of a plane, and you can write the equation of a plane if you know the x-intercept, y-intercept, and z-intercept. So suppose let's say that this intercept is given to us, and then so the plane that is shown here, the intercepts are of the given plane are basically x-intercept is 2, then 4, and 3. So these are the intercepts, okay, 2, 4, and 3. Now to represent this particular plane, what we say is not the intercept, but what we instead say is basically what is called as the Miller indices. Okay. So to find the Miller indices, find the Miller indices, Now what are Miller indices? Miller indices is a way of specifying a particular plane. Okay, there will be three indexes with which you can specify any plane. So that specifies any plane in 3D space. So how do we find it? First step is like step 1 is find the x, y and z intercepts. Step 2, find the reciprocal of the intercepts. So if I do step 2 on the given plane, so you will get basically 1 by 2, 1 by 4 and 1 by 3. And then step 3 is multiply each reciprocal with its LCM. So you will get basically, so first we had the intercept which is 2, 4 and 3, then we had 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 3 and then multiply each with its LCM. LCM. So what will you get? LCM is basically 12. So we will get it as 6, 3 and 4. So this is the Miller indices. Okay, so the plane 634, when we say, we are referring to this particular plane. Okay, and it is also the Miller indices of a plane which is parallel to this particular plane is also same. If you follow this procedure, you may get a different intercept, but when you take these 3 steps, you will get it or the same Miller indices. So any plane which is like above this plane parallel to it will also have the same Miller indices. So this way you can talk about different planes. So for example, the 3 most important planes in a cubic crystal is basically the 3 most important planes in a cubic lattice are basically 1, 0, 0 plane. Okay. Miller indices are shown with a simple bracket or parenthesis, we call it 1, 0, 0, then 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1, 1 plane. So these are the 3 most important planes. Now what are these 1, 0, 0 plane? 1, 0, 0 plane refer to plane that is perpendicular to the x-axis. So if I draw it, So if we can talk about a plane which is parallel to like this, which is parallel to y and z, but cutting say your x-axis at say 2. So this is your x-axis, it is cutting only the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis it is parallel to it, so you can say the y-intercept is at infinity. So the intercepts are basically, step 1 is to write the intercept. So intercepts are, x-intercept is 2, then y-intercept is infinity, and then reciprocal. So you will get 1 by 2, 0, 0. Then multiply with the LCM. That is LCM of the denominator. Okay. So Miller indices. So you multiply with 2. So that is your 1, 0, 0. So if it is cutting at 3 also, you will get 1, 0, 0. If it is cutting at 1 also, you will get 1, 0, 0. So it's like a group of plane which are 1, 0, 0 means a group of plane which are parallel to YZ axis. So this is one of the important plane, and so if I construct the cube, so it's basically one of the face of the cube. Now the properties of a wafer which is like having a plane, the wafer plane which is coinciding with 1, 0, 0 plane is determined by the surface density of that plane. So what is the surface density? So earlier we found out the packing density. Now similarly we can find out the surface density. So surface density is basically number of lattice points divided by the area of the surface. So for example, if it is a simple cube, so there is atoms sitting in the corner like this. So there is atom sitting at the corner, and this surface is having 1/4 from each of the corner atom, not 1/8, because we are only considering the surface. So we are not considering the x direction, we are only considering the y direction and z direction. The atoms are shared between 4 such surfaces. Okay, this is one surface. So these are the 4 surfaces. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are considering this 4th surface. So this particular lattice point has 1. So 1/4 into, there are 4 such lattice points, and the area is basically a square. So this is 1 by a square. Now if we consider face-centered cube, it is going to be an additional lattice point here, so it will be 2 by a square. So if it is a face-centered cube, 1, 0, 0 will have 2 by a square. Okay, so that is 1, 0, 0. Now what about 1, 1, 0? So 1, 1, 0 is a little more difficult to show it, but I'll try. So this is our cube. Atoms are all at the corners. Okay, let's assume okay, so this is again simple cube I am taking. Now if you consider this plane, so this plane, suppose the top of the wafer, that plane in the wafer is having this particular plane. So if I consider this particular plane, what will be my surface density? So surface density will be, again you have four corner atoms for this surface, and you can see that this is also shared between four such different surfaces. Each corner atom is shared by four such surface areas. So effectively only 1/4 is becoming part of one particular surface. So 1/4 multiplied by 4. Now divided by the area of the surface. Now the area of the surface is not a square. This is A. We have a cube whose sides are A. So by Pythagoras theorem, this diagonal is basically root 2A. Square root of A square plus A square, which is square root of 2A square, so it is root 2A. So you have to write it as root 2A square. So 1 by root 2A square. So if it is a simple cube, this particular plane, what is this plane? This plane is basically 110 plane. So 110 plane of a simple cube. Now you can also look at what will be the case with face-centered cube and body-centered cube. If it is a body-centered cube, what would happen is that there will be an atom sitting at the center of this. So right now it is basically a simple cube, but if I convert this into body-centered cube, I need to bring in an additional atom, okay, at the center of the body, and that will be entirely inside this particular surface. So therefore the number of atoms will be this plus one additional atom. So this is going to be 2 divided by root 2A square. So depending upon the lattice structure and depending upon the surface, the property, the surface density is going to be different. And so which surface is better? Is it 100 better or 110 better? So that is determined by whether we are talking about simple cube or BCC or FCC, or and also we are talking about which plane, whether it is 100 or 110 or 111. Okay, so the larger the surface density, the worse it is. Okay, so that is a thumb rule. the surface density should be as small as possible. And the reason is that for keeping it less reactive. If there are more atoms sitting or more lattice points sitting on the surface, then the surface density will be larger, and then there are more atoms which are having unsatisfied bonds. Okay, because you are terminating a 3D structure on the surface, and above that there is no more atoms sitting. So the atoms on the surface can only make bond with what is underneath. So there is no atoms available on the top of it. So that is why the reactivity is larger on the surface. In order to satisfy the required bonds, it will always try to react with any atoms which passes by. So in order to keep it lesser reactive, what we need to do is like take a surface which is having smaller surface density. So the surface density should be as small as possible for keeping the wafer less reactive. So in the case of silicon, what is done is basically 100 is the most preferred plane to make the wafer. So that is why, or let me say, therefore 100 plane is mostly preferred in silicon wafer. When I say 100, the plane of the wafer is 100 plane. Now I did not tell you what is silicon, the structure of silicon. So now let's go to the structure of silicon. Silicon is the single most important material that we will use in this course to make devices, and therefore we need to know the structure of silicon very well. The structure of silicon lattice is face-centered cube with two silicon atoms. The two silicon atoms sitting on every lattice points, separated by a vector a by 4, a by 4, a by 4. Okay, so that is a structure of silicon, and this structure is also called as diamond structure because this is the structure of the diamond also. This is also the structure of diamond, where instead of silicon atom you have carbon atom. Is also the structure of diamond, therefore called as diamond therefore we call it as diamond structure. So let's try to visualize this. So try to understand the definition. FCC lattice, and I told you lattice point can be single atom or a group of atoms. So in this case, two silicon atoms sitting in every lattice point. Okay, let me just attempt to draw this. First of all, I draw a cube. So that is a cube. Now face centered. So that means atoms are on every corner as well as on every face. Now lattice points are on. There is lattice points. FCC lattice means this is atoms, 8 atoms on the corner and then atoms on the face. 6 additional atoms. Okay. Now each lattice point is associated with the 2 silicon atoms, and these atoms associated with each lattice point, one is at exactly on the top of the lattice and the other is displaced by a by 4, a by 4, a by 4. So a is what? A is this length. One side is what we call side of the unit cell is what we call as A. So if you divide it into 2 parts, you get a by 4. Again subdivide, you get a by 4. So similarly, this is a by 2 and this is a by 4. So you go a by 4, a by 4, and then you go a by 4. So if I have to draw this, one silicon atom here, another silicon atom here. So this is the two silicon atom associated with the, that particular lattice point. Similarly, you have 8 plus 6, that is 8 plus 6 is 14. There is 14 lattice point here in this cube, and each lattice point you have to put, so 2 each. So these are the silicon atom. The yellow or the orange shows basically the lattice points. As I told you, it is visualization is little difficult, but let us attempt it. Okay, so all the red ones are basically the silicon atoms, and the orange ones are basically the lattice points, FCC lattice point. So essentially it is an FCC lattice structure, but each lattice point is associated with a 2 silicon atom, one exactly on the top of the lattice point and the other from there. You have to imagine a vector with the length a by 4 in x, y and z direction. So that will be the structure. Now if you look at most of, so there are 14 lattice point, and out of that 14, 10 of those lattice point will have the companion atom going out of the unit cell. You can see that. So I'll just, so this is outside the unit cell, this is outside the unit cell, this is also outside the unit cell, this one outside, this one outside, this one outside, this one outside, then yeah, this one is also outside, then what, this face is also outside. So the top face, the back face, this side face, and all these corner atoms on the top and the right side, and similarly this one, which is at this corner, is outside. So let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, yeah. So all these are going outside, but four of them are having the second atom inside the unit cell. Okay, that is how do I show this? So one on this particular side, then one on the bottom side, and the one on the front side which is facing us. This side. Okay, so the atoms on the face center will have a companion. Those three will have companions which are going into the unit cell. Too much drawing may make it a mess. So only the four of the atom have a companion, which is the second silicon atom will be inside the unit cell. Or in other words, I can say the packing density. If I want to find out, it will be what? Total number of silicon atoms inside. So now how many silicon atoms are there? From the corner you have, as before, 1/8 share, and there are 8 of them. Then from the face you have, as before, 1 silicon atom, but it is shared only between 2 unit cells, so half into 6. Now you have, in addition to this, the second silicon atom, which are going into the unit cell. So many of them are going out, 10 of them are going outside, 4 of them are coming inside. So that will be fully inside, so it will be 1 into 4. So divided by A cube. So which is equal to 1 plus 3, so 4 plus 4, 8 by A cube. So this will be the packing density. So here we are talking about the number of silicon atom per unit cube, unit volume. Number of silicon atoms per unit volume. Okay. One more thing, like if you take 100 plane, the surface density of 100 plane is what? It's going to be 1 by 4 into 4 plus 1 at the face, that is fully inside, not shared with anything, and the associated silicon atom, they are not on the surface, they are outside, so that will be 2 by A squared. Okay, so this is for silicon surface density. Now surface density of 110 plane, if you evaluate, again these things are very difficult to visualize, so you have to visualize this particular plane, and what you will see is that uh, there are 4 atoms which are going inside, out of which you will have some of these atoms coming on the surface, coming on this plane. So for silicon, the surface density of 110 is going to be the highest. So it's not really clear and visible. Okay, maybe I'll continue in the next class. I'll try to show you some pictures with the help of some pictures other than what I draw, to show how many atoms of silicon atoms are sitting in this 110 plane, and then also 111 plane also we will look at. So these are the most important plane. I have only shown the simpler one, 100. So we will also look at 110 and 111 plane. Wafers are made only in these 3 planes, but as I said, since the surface density, you will see when you compare the surface density, 100 plane has the least surface density, and therefore that is preferred in almost all application. The wafers that are used for mass production, they are 100 plane because that has the least reactivity. So we will find out this 110 and 111 plane. These are the Miller indices of silicon material in the next class.